tell me about your story about how you came into biohacking health and everything, because you started off in the corporate world and it was a sudden shift, right? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I was in the corporate world. I've always been, since I was a young kid, I was a dancer. This is a story I've told a lot, so I can just synopsize it. But it's like I was a dancer. I was watching women with body dysmorphia. I was having a little bit of my own, because in ballet, it was like, how tiny can you be and how light and floaty and airy can you perform in the same way? And many women were like under eating, and there's all those challenges that come with it. So my curiosity was initially sparked because I wanted to be able to eat food and still have a physique that felt like I could be strong and graceful and, petite enough. But back in the day, then it was like you needed to be as petite as possible, right? So some unhealthy behaviors in there, some curiosity was sparked. I started dancing when I was 5. So it's like, very socialized. And then I sort of became a little curious food consumer when it came to lifestyle eating choices. I was trying the diamond, like food combining, and then, juicing. I was like, had a juicer at 17, 18 years old, juicing vegetable juice only. I was definitely the weird kid in high school. And then even as I went into the world of work and corporate and all of that, I was consistently curious. Getting out of ballet at some point, mostly because I developed into a very shapely female that was not quite acceptable for that back in the day. Again, it's very different now. And then I really went into corporate America, where I loved working on branding and I loved working with a lot of consumer packaged goods. It was interesting to me, but the whole time I was collecting all these certifications. I became a yoga teacher, and then I learned about Mark Sisson. I worked a lot with him and like his primal coaching as that grew, and understanding paleo, and then drinking butter coffee in the office and everyone saying you're going to die young with a heart attack and bulletproof lifestyle and all of those things. And so as I wove those pieces together, I was really discovering the early days of biohacking when Dave first sort of coined the phrase. Dave Asprey, of course, we're talking about. And I felt like this is awesome. And part of my innate nature of I was a tomboy growing up, even in the mix of dancing ballet, and just really feeling like I was super alpha energy since I was a little kid. My mother said to me recently, I was always dropping you off at these birthday parties thinking they'd be like this great thing for you to like meet all these friends. And it'd be like, you'd have the one gift and you'd show up, you'd be the only girl there. And it was like all boys and me. And there's a lot of that energy in my life that I've continued to kind of navigate in my world, because my corporate job was like 18 men in the first division I ever worked in, and me. And that was a communication challenge and a growth opportunity, and many things existed in that. So part of that is an important piece of the story, because as I was working and around so many men, I started realizing that I had to completely shift my style of communication and the way that I worked to be able to succeed. And understanding that, and later on when I managed women, I realized I had almost overcorrected. And so I felt like there's this gap in the world where we're like figuring out how to communicate as females. And then I saw that gap in biohacking, because it was very male dominated the first 5 or 7 years or so of that culture existing. And I thought, wow, there's really an open space for someone who's going to come in who is a woman, is female physiologically, born a woman, and then can work with women and start to understand and peel back the layers of where we're missing research and where we can do things better and according to our bodies. And that has been the trajectory. The sharp ending of my corporate job was just when I decided, hey, it's time for me to leave a different legacy than branding consumer packaged goods. And it was ironic in some way, because all of my friends, when I said, I'm leaving, I'm calling it quits, I'm going to do all of this health and biohacking full time, they were all like, yeah, finally. Like, I thought it was going to be a big shock, and they all kind of knew, and it was like, why didn't you tell me sooner, guys? And they're like, we tried to. So they
saw it coming.
Story. Yeah, they saw it coming. And this is my, as my friend Logan Gelbrick wrote in his book, Going Right, he uses the term, what's your peak expression? And I feel like the work that I'm doing now, working with women, working with cold breath, recovery, health, fitness, is really my peak expression in the world. And I'm so happy I get to do the work.
Yeah, I found that so many people that follow their passions, there's kind of like two paths that really lead them into it. Number one is curiosity, and it is that itch of the passion. There is something else out there, right? And number two is frustration. I know in my father's case, he was a conventional doctor that was just frustrated with the results, saying there's got to be something better. I didn't get into medicine to give people crutches and basically see him still be sick and get sicker year after year. And that's what led him in that way. So it's like, you kind of hear that in both sides. As much as you love what you did, there's a little frustration, a little curiosity. to push you towards that. And I think people need to explore that and not talk themselves out of that more, which you see a lot of.